I found it really hard to share that with people. Like my portfolio of my sketches, I'd be quite hesitant to show people because I'd be scared that they'd be able to see all my vulnerability, all my pain, all my problems that I was sort of hiding away in the pages. And when you do get the courage to share that vulnerability, it's such a big release, because for starters it helps you realise that there's nothing to be afraid of sharing these things, and it's very powerful to be vulnerable. And secondly, so many people can relate to it. Like, so many people feel the same way, and it actually makes them feel less alone to be able to see that other people feel the same way that they do. So a couple of months back, I completed my second project working with a self-published author to create a children's book called To My Child, You Are Loved. I was working with the author CMP Smith to create this book about unconditional parental love, and there was also a really strong central theme about tapping into self-love and self-acceptance, which is completely on my vibe, so I was really excited to work with Claire on this project. The reason I'm making this video today is because about a month back I went to the book launch party for To My Child, You Are Loved, and it was really fun to be able to finally meet Claire in person and actually see her face to face, because we'd only really seen each other over video call before that. One of the things that I love the most about art is that you could show the same image to any two people, and for each person there's going to be a very unique and special meaning behind that artwork, and different aspects of the art are going to be special to you depending on your experiences and your perspective in your life. And it was really meaningful for me to be able to meet some parents and kids who have read this book, and for them, for whatever reason that's personal to them, it really had struck a special chord, and it really resonated with something in them and their experience, and it was really special to be able to share that with them and to be able to see that and feel that response live at the launch party.
Beat your drum and beat it loud at your own perfect rhythm. Whether you can stand upon your head, you're good at maths or arts, it matters not. Well, I interviewed about 6 illustrators. I went through a process where I put an advertisement up, and I really wanted to find an illustrator who wasn't just illustrating some pictures that were going to go with the words. I wanted to find an illustrator that connected with the story in the book, connected with me, connected with the project, somebody I could collaborate with, and I've just found that in Olivia. As soon as I interviewed her, we just had a connection. I just knew it. I finished the interview and I went to my husband and I said, "Oh, I found her. This universe wants me to do this project because I found this illustrator," and it's been a pleasure.
So in the book, we decided to put a bit of a game in there where in every double-page spread there was a teddy bear, which the kids had to try and find with their parents when they were reading the book. Just thought it'd be a fun way to keep the kids engaged. And one of my favourite parts of the launch party was actually sitting down with a big group of the kids and teaching them how to sketch a teddy. They were all so sweet, and it was so nice to sit around in a little circle with them and teach them a little bit of art for the afternoon.
Throughout the whole project, we went through a very collaborative process. We both shared very similar values and a similar vision for how we wanted the book to turn out. It really helps that we both had a very strong focus on developing self-love and self-acceptance in life, and we really wanted to try and convey that message to any children who are reading the book. And it was really nice working with her throughout the whole process, because I felt that I could really just go wild and come up with as many ideas as possible to try and capture her words into a visual representation. And we kind of went back and forth. We tweaked some of the words as well so they would fit better with how we thought the illustrations could be portrayed. And throughout the whole process, we really wanted to make sure that we captured the strong bond and connection between a parent and their child, and how important that love is for the child's growth, and how that child becomes the person that they're going to be based on so many influences from the parent and the way that that parent communicates with them and teaches them to be self-accepting and to love themselves no matter what. We are all perfectly imperfect, and that's kind of what makes us special. Working on this kind of stuff with Claire, who has a lot of very similar values and beliefs that I have, I think that we really bounced off of each other well, and it was nice being able to communicate these ideas that are in some ways quite complex in a bit of a simplified way so that children can understand it. I think it's really amazing how things just seem to just fall in place, and there's been probably like a 2-year period in my life now. I just feel like things have really just been, the intentions that I've been setting have just happened to be bringing the right people at the right time and the right opportunities. And I felt like when we met, I really had like such a strong connection with you. Like the second I got off the call on Zoom, Louis came back home and I was like, wow, I just had such a great conversation with a potential new client. Like, she is really different to most of the people I speak to on a daily basis. And she had such a great connection. I told him that I cried when you read me your poem, and I was just like, this is beautiful. And yeah, I don't know, I just felt like the universe was sort of telling me that I need to work with you. And
yeah, I felt exactly the same. Like the poem I actually wrote in 2019 and knew at the time I wanted to share it. I knew that I had to share it. I almost felt like I channeled it. And I wasn't ready. I wasn't in the place to do it. And then I put out to the universe I wanted a new challenge without the stress.
Yeah.
And then within a week the universe said, do this. So I just had the raw poem. I didn't even have it edited, did I?
No, yeah, but we worked on it a little bit. Like, we gave a few suggestions here and there, but I think overall it hasn't changed that much from the first one that you read me. Like a couple words here and there, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit shorter, edited for a children's audience as well, because originally it was just a poem for me that I'd written as a parent and as a child who's been parented.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got off the interview with you, and the next day I went in my study and just started editing, and the family kept popping in like, are you nearly ready? I'm like, yeah, nearly ready. I think I just 3 hours just sat editing, and then I was just like, I know that this is ready. And we didn't really make many edits after that, did we?
No, we didn't. There may be a couple words here and there, but I think it was more just making sure that the images we were creating reflected properly what we were trying to say with the words and what the meaning was behind it. Like, there are sometimes we come up with an image and we think it would work, but then you see it in colour and it's not quite working.
Oh, that Connect page.
Yeah, the Connect page. It's so much better now with the heart. It's perfect.
I love that mandala heart. It's so nice.
So beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, we got really stuck, didn't we? We were trying to illustrate the word connect when, connect, because the connect was running through the poem. Connect with my love, connect with your beauty, connect with nature and God and everything. Yeah. But actually it wasn't about connect, it was about love. And as soon as we realised that, it was just the mandala came to life.
Yeah, if I ever have kids, I'd like to approach it the way that you have. Like, that sort of way of being nurturing is something that I think both of us probably maybe didn't get to experience as much, because we both lost a parent at a young age. Like, you with your dad and me with my mum. Like I was saying earlier, I just thought it was such a synchronicity for me that I read about your book on your Upwork posting, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then I met you and I was like, wow, she's amazing. And the fact that we both had that same experience where we lost a parent from such a young age was just like such a mad coincidence for me, and we were such similar ages as well.
Yeah, really similar ages, and it's actually not that common to have lost a parent in childhood.
No.
But we both opened up about that on the first time we met as well, which isn't something I tend to open up about on a regular basis, and also, it's just a part of who we are.
Yeah, you don't even think about it.
No, you don't go around going, hey, I'm a bereaved child.
After
such a long time.
You never even identify with that. Like, I sort of sometimes forget that, like, people have two parents, because it's just, for me, it's just normal. Like, I just had my dad, and you had your mum, and I think it's interesting growing up in that situation where you experience that kind of emotional trauma from such a young age. Like, I think that's something that really inspires you to then create when you get older, because you learn to express yourself at a very young age, because you don't really know what to do with those emotions. Like, for me, similar to when you're writing, you feel like you're channeling it. Like, when I make art, I just feel like it's channeling out of me. And when I was really young, sometimes I didn't know how to talk about what I was feeling, but I could make something and it would reflect what I was feeling, and I'd feel sort of better afterwards. And
yeah, that's amazing. Creativity is just so powerful. It's just such a powerful way of processing emotions. And I think for a long time I probably wasn't as creative as I could have been. Oliver Jeffers has got this absolutely amazing book, The Heart in the Bottle. I think we actually looked at some of it, didn't we, when we were creating the book? And it's all about this little girl who has this wonderful relationship with her father, and has this huge imagination through the books they read together. And then he dies in the book, and she puts her heart in a bottle and she locks it away, and in doing that she loses her imagination and her joy. And then she's with a child on the beach, and you can infer that it's her children, and together the child helps her break the bottle open when she didn't know how to break the bottle open. And for me, that's just what having kids has really been all about. It's just opened up creativity and joy for me, and you know, writing poetry just is flowing out of me now, but it's not something... I've always had poetry then, I've always written it.
But you weren't ready to express it fully, right?
I certainly wasn't ready to share it. I used to write poetry for myself, really. And it's just been amazing, kind of growing that vulnerability to share my poetry has just seeing the reaction of other people getting something out of it. It's just been amazing. I just keep getting texts from people just saying, oh my gosh, your book's beautiful. You've just put words for how I'm feeling that I just can't say myself.
I think that's something that's quite interesting about creativity and expression, is like you sort of come to it when you're ready, and sharing it is a whole other thing, because it's the same for me. I used to sketch and I wouldn't show people. I'd sketch nice things and I'd show people, but things that were really meaningful for me, like the real art that was helping me express stuff that I didn't know how to put into words properly, I find it really hard to share that with people. Like my portfolio of my sketches, I'd be quite hesitant to show people because I'd be scared that they'd be able to see all my vulnerability, all my pain, all my problems that I was sort of hiding away in the pages. And when you do get the courage to share that vulnerability, it's such a big release, because for starters it helps you realise that there's nothing to be afraid of sharing these things, and it's very powerful to be vulnerable. And secondly, so many people can relate to it, like so many people feel the same way, and it actually makes them feel less alone to be able to see that other people feel the same way that they do, you know?
Yeah, for such a long time I thought vulnerability was a weakness, but it's actually the opposite. It's such a strength, and I absolutely love all of Brené Brown's work on vulnerability and shame, and you know, learning so much from her has helped me kind of on that journey. I think the other thing about the bereavement which was really interesting was, obviously I wrote the poem about me losing my dad, and I was really hesitant about whether we should keep the page in the book that actually suggests that your parent might die. And I was really nervous about it, and I think we had a discussion, should we keep it, should we not, and you know, you felt also quite strongly that we should keep that message there. And it's been really nice. I've had adults get in touch with me about how it's helped them, how it's helped teenagers, and I think it's important to discuss our
mortality.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's something we ignore in our culture completely, and it's something that I think it's sort of my mission in life, is to help people realise that you don't need to be afraid of that word, death. It's not a scary thing. It's the reason we live. Like the reason we make so much effort to make our lives special and memorable and connect with people is because we know that time is limited. And I think it's something that as a culture we ignore a lot and we don't really bring any attention to. So then when it happens, we're just so shocked because we don't practice anything that allows us to prepare for that. And I think that's something that's really big in like my spiritual beliefs, is that, you know, you should be spending a lot of your time like just being present and being aware of the reality, but also being cool with the fact that everything is temporary, and that's why it's beautiful. Like, you know, my mum was a really cool person. She was amazing, and I don't know her as an adult, but I know her because people tell me about her, and I'm so blessed that I got to know her even for 9 years of my life, because that was a really special gift. And yeah, it's a really important lesson that I think we ignore a lot in our society, that it's cool that we brought attention to in the book, because it can happen to anyone, and if it gives a kid some comfort, if it has happened to them already, then that's quite a special gift, I think.
People should buy the book because simply it's just a big hug. Everybody I've spoken to who's read the book just says it fills them with love, that it gives them words for the feelings in their heart that they're not able to express to their children. And it helps children know that they're loved unconditionally, through mistakes, through sadness, through depression, through all of life's ups and downs. They are loved, you are loved.
If anybody's interested in buying this book and checking it out, I recommend that you go to cmpsmith.com or go to Amazon. I'll put some links below to both CMP Smith's website and also the Amazon link. I recommend that you get the book directly from the author's website though, because the quality of the print on the website is much higher, and you can also get like a hardback copy which just feels really nice, and you know it's going to last a really long time. The quality is much higher. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing your comments in the section below. Let me know what you think about the book and the artwork and the whole concept of this book, because I really think it's something quite special. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Bye!